shall be free. I've long watched the sun rising over scenes like this. I've long watched America stirring to the splendor of a new day, working for an assured production of food. But there's something new in the air over America. Something new in the air, something that makes us roll up our sleeves, spit on our hands, and go to work. A new obligation that reaches all of us. You can't look across the fields of America without remembering that no matter what else happens, anywhere, people have to live. People have to eat. And we have more than ourselves to think of. It takes a lot of work and fertile land, a lot of people and power and equipment to produce our milk and butter and eggs, our wheat and corn, cotton, rice and tobacco, our pork, beef, and all the rest of it. In peace or war, this production of food must not fail. Now in America, there is a new obligation, a need for another kind of production. For this new kind of production, we turn from the fields to the factories of America.
All over the country, men like these harvester employees are streaming into plants. They've had a full-time job making farm equipment and trucks. Now, keyed to a higher tempo of production, they're ready, able, and willing to produce the tools we need for food and for defense. That's a double load, and we don't yet know all it means. But it means changes. Here's a big industrial building in St. Paul. It had been used to store farm equipment, but the Army needed a new type of intermediate caliber artillery gun. So Harvester and the Army went to work to change things. The plant was cleaned out, slick as a whistle. And while this was being done, the machinery of production was moved into place. And at the same time, they began looking around for men and women to help produce this new gun. Everybody can't run a machine any more than everybody can fly a plane. It takes a lot of special training. Qualified men and women were examined and interviewed. Production was the word. But this was only one phase of the great national training and production program. You wouldn't expect to find an implement dealer running a school, would you? But in every state, thousands of boys from 17 to 25 in the out-of-school youth program have been learning auto and tractor mechanics, metalworking, and the like. Some of these boys will stay on the farm, some will go into factories, and lots of them will go into the Army. Most of us hadn't paid enough attention to our armed forces, not until recently. But now we know what they need. They must have equipment. They must have food. So it's important to equip them with the best tools in the world and to give them plenty of good, nourishing food. Today, our armed forces do things in a modern way. The refrigerating mechanism for this equipment came from the same drawing boards as the International Cooler. It's doing the important job of preserving food for the soldiers, keeping the food fresh and safe, and what's more, make it go further. There's plenty of equipment like these big internationals hauling food for the Army. Wherever there's a need to move something around, there are thousands of dependable trucks like these. More than half the trucks in the world right here in America. And you know they can handle a whale of a transportation job. Now, as never before, 30 million farmers, the nation's #1 industry, are plunged into a crucial battle of food. The importance of food is as sharp as a pang of hunger. People say, food will win the war and right the peace. It's certainly scarce enough in many parts of the world. It's a ravaged, stricken, hungry world. It tears your heart to think that men can do things like this to each other. Once more, the sons of Cain have let force loose in the world. What is America doing about it? What are the men of International Harvester doing about it? In answer to the government's need to expand our national steel-making capacity, Harvester taps a new open hearth furnace, and then another new furnace, among the first to be completed, so that steel will flow out in ever-increasing quantity. America had started on the greatest program of military production the world had ever seen. An enormous amount of preparation work had to be done. Everywhere, men like these worked out the new problems. Here in Milwaukee, Harvester had a tough assignment. The Army wanted large numbers of 75mm shells. Where could these men get the machines? Where were the tools and materials that were needed? Time was precious. America wanted action. Men went out into the graveyard of their old machinery. New machines couldn't be made fast enough. It was up to Harvester's experienced production men to recondition and adapt old machinery to the new types of work. So they put their practical hands and eyes to work, and, months ahead of schedule, made a miracle of conversion and production. Here it is, right in front of your eyes. How about it? Will she work? Okay, okay, let her go! The purposeful men and machines are working. Loud and stridulous rises the voice of production. were 3 out of 4 machines rebuilt on the spot for the high speeds of modern shell production. But as the shells move from rough forging to the finishing operations, they roll on a highly efficient homemade conveyor system. No better 75mm shells are being produced anywhere in the United States. And they're coming off the line at a considerable saving in cost, thanks to the ingenuity of experienced men in adapting existing tools to their needs. And because they were in full production, ahead of schedule, it wasn't long before the armed forces could put them to use. Mobility is the essence of modern war, and America's motorized forces must be kept rolling. Over at the Fort Wayne Works, plant facilities are being used for the manufacture of military trucks. The performance of the military units is tested on the proving ground just the same way all the guesswork is taken out of the standard trucks. International trucks are rolling on the Burma Road and driving across the hot sands of Africa and doing yeoman service with friendly foreign powers, all under the toughest possible conditions. Others are serving our armed forces right here. Harvester knows how to build them for any kind of service, anywhere. You'll find them in use all over the country, from the Marine base in San Diego to Camp Blanding, Florida. Here at the Tractor Works, for years men have been building the machines that have supplied power for our industry and power that has modernized our agriculture. Now they're being asked to build power and traction for the armed forces, too. Power to batter down obstacles, to level airports, and power to move heavy military machines around. Power to push or pull, to haul and hoist. More than 4,000 separate operations are necessary to produce one powerful track tractor. And here they are in quantity production. They're finished off with special equipment for a wide variety of military uses. Air and electric brakes, pack racks and pintle hooks, and front-end winches. Every crawler is run in before it leaves the factory. Look at them come. Just look at all that power ready to go to work on farms, in industry, and with the armed forces. How's this for production? You'll find them doing all different kinds of work, like handling bombs for airplanes here in Orlando, or moving airplane engines over at MacDill Field. You can see them at Fort Sill, Camp Pendleton, Fort Bragg. Wherever you see them, they have a reputation to live up to. And they're just as tough and dependable as you'd expect them to be. This is a big gun to haul around, 155 millimeter. It weighs more than 30,000 pounds and was designed to roll at 15 miles an hour. But that's not fast enough for modern streamlined war. So once again, they turned to the men of Harvester. And here's what happened. It was necessary to machine the axle shaft and to assemble new wheels and new air brakes. A new style limber or forecarriage, complete from drawbar to rubber tires, is built and assembled. The gun with a high-speed carriage and brand new limber. You can tow this baby on the highway at 50, 60, well, as fast as you'll drive one of the Army's big prime movers. In the West Pullman Works in Chicago, Harvester employees have converted more machinery, and they're putting it to work making shells for the highly versatile 37 millimeter cannon. A chucking machine used to make piston pins was converted into a 6-bar automatic screw machine to speed up shell production. Again, experienced men and women with plenty of machine power show the world what they can do. Right here in this same plant, a great upsetter machine has been converted to the production of circular Belleville springs. They look like nothing more significant than large washers, but made of high-quality steel, they're tough and resilient enough to absorb the terrific impact of a howitzer's recoil. Don't forget that behind the striking power and mobility of our national defense are the coordinated efforts of men and women at home, in offices, in the fields and factories, working together to produce the vital food and machines. For this is a production country. There's work to be done, and work is being done right now to build a stronger America, to drive away the grim threat of force and famine. At this task, no nation on earth is our equal. We work with confidence in our way of living. And working together, our production of food and arms makes us strong. And the strong shall be free.
I believe in the United States of America as a government of the people, by the people, for the people, whose just powers are derived from the consent of the governed. A democracy in a republic, a sovereign nation of many sovereign states, a perfect union, one and inseparable, established upon those principles of freedom, equality, justice, and humanity, for which American patriots sacrificed their lives and fortunes. I therefore believe it is my duty to my country to love it, to support its Constitution, to obey its laws, to respect its flag, and to defend it against all enemies.